All right. Intestinal juices, right? We are done with that part. The next part is functions of the liver. Other than emulsification or production of the bile, what else the liver do? Okay. Other than the production of the bile, और आपके पास जो है वो what else it do? Other function is detoxification. It detoxify the chemicals, like I have told you in the earlier lesson that all the substances or antibodies, or if there is any infection, or all the cells when they are they actually are broken down in the liver. So liver is like a trash can for you. So हम trash can का word तो use नहीं करेंगे. That is detoxifying. ठीक है? Okay. Then another part, what is it? It is what else it does? Deamination. Deamination is actually what happens that if you have the excess amino acid, ठीक है, आपने फ्रूट खाया, उसमें आपके पास excess amino acid था, आपने प्रोटीन उस दिन ज्यादा खाया था, then it will break down into urea. This method is known as deamination, right? So excess amino acids are broken down to form urea, that is known as deamination. You will study about deamination in 10th grade in the chapter excretion. Okay, other than that, what does it do? It helps in storage. Storage of what? When the glucose is converted into glycogen, the complex molecule of the glycogen is also stored in the liver. Okay? And then it also converts the excess carbohydrate to fats. Okay? Also stores the vitamin. Remember vitamin C? जो इसके अंदर source आपके पास beef liver भी था. So some of the vitamins are stored in liver, and it also stores iron, copper, and zinc. Plus, it also helps in making the cholesterol, and it produces the heat as well. Okay. So these are the other functions of liver. So if the question comes, describe the functions of liver other than production of bile. 3 marks ka, or 2 marks ka, or 4 marks ka. You have these all points. You can write down any of them. Okay. According to the marks. Detoxify would be one key point, deamination would be one key point, glucose to glycogen would be one key point, storing of the vitamins can be one key point. Okay? Okay, I hope it is clear.
Yes.
All right, ठीक है. अब हमारे पास है next part, absorption. Now, the food which has been digested in the small intestine, you can see all the products is now in a simplest form. They are ready to be absorbed. They are ready to go to the cells, right? But how they will reach to the cell? They have to be absorbed into the blood first, because blood is actually the transporting medium. And how they will be absorbed into the blood? What happens? All digested material, or all digestible material, is exchanged to soluble compounds which can pass through lining of the intestine and into the bloodstream. Okay? The final products which we got it is carbohydrate किस में convert होके glucose, galactose, fructose में, protein किस में convert होके amino acid, lipids were converted into fatty acid and glycerol, and we got the vitamins and minerals. So far, you have not studied any enzyme related to vitamin and mineral. Why not? Why there is no enzyme for vitamins and minerals?
Because they're already in their simplest form. They
Very
don't
good.
need breaking down.
Very nice. So they are already in the simplest form. They do not need any enzymes for that. They are actually absorbed into the small intestine. Okay. Or as they are already soluble. Plus cellulose, which is the roughage of the fiber, and you know that they are not digested. We do not have the enzyme of it, yet it is very important for digestion because it maintains your peristalsis. It helps in keeping your internal lining of the alimentary canal smooth, lubricate, okay, and allow the food to pass through smoothly. Now, what is absorption? Absorption is actually the movement of the nutrients from the intestine into the cell lining, okay, of the digestive system, and then into the blood. The first part of the the first part of the small intestine is known as duodenum, where all these final digestion occurred. Now we are moving towards the later part of the small intestine, which is known as ileum. Ileum is the area where the final digestion occurs. Okay? Okay. And you may find a structure there in the ileum. They are finger-like projections. Okay? You can see this is actually the lumen of the ileum. And you can see so many finger-like projections here. These finger-like projections are known as villi. Okay? If it is plural, villi. If it is singular, villus. Clear? Okay, now let's discuss about how a single villus helps in the absorption. First, we will discuss the structure, then we will discuss the function of it. Okay, number 1 point, they are a finger-like projections. Remember, when any cell who has a smaller volume, it means they have increased surface area to volume ratio for the absorption or whatever the function they have to do. So, how they are smaller in volume by as they are finger-like projections. Okay, and because of that, there are millions of villi in your small intestine. So finger-like projections present in the ileum, we have to be specific where the villi are present. They are present in the ileum. Okay, who absorbs the digested food into the blood? Digested food. The food has been digested now. The nutrients, okay, are ready to be absorbed into the blood. And how do they do it? The structure and the function. Number one, villi are numerous and finger-like. Numerous means बहुत ज़्यादा and finger-like. Numerous means many and finger-like. Why? What is the reason? To increase the surface area to volume ratio for absorption. Right? More the villi, quicker will be the absorption. Then we have next point, the next key structure they would have, they are well supplied with blood capillaries. Of course, the food is supposed to be absorbed into the blood. So it means that the structure should have the blood capillaries uh, supply. Okay? As the villi, alveoli. Okay? What the alveoli was doing, it was exchanging the gases from the blood and into the blood. So it means that the villi should be well supplied with the blood capillaries. Okay? Similarly, here the villi should also be well supplied with the blood capillary because all the food is supposed to go to the blood. तो कैसे जाएगा blood में जब blood ही नहीं होगा वहां पे तो. ठीक है? So it is a key factor. And how it is absorbed? The glucose is absorbed into the blood capillaries by active transport, and the amino acids are absorbed by diffusion. You have to remember that these are the key terms. Glucose are absorbed by active transport, and amino acids are absorbed by diffusion. Okay, next point. Other than that, if you see, this is the structure of a villi or a villus. Okay, okay. It's a finger-like projection. Hmm? And if you see the outer layer, these outer layers are microvilli. Means this finger-like projections ki bhi small, they are the small versions of the finger-like projections on the surface of the villi. They are known as microvilli. What the microvilli is doing, it is increasing the rate of absorption. It is making the absorption rate faster. Okay? So microvilli. And in between the microvilli, you may see there are some goblet cells. I hope now you know what are the goblet cells. Anyone who can tell me what is goblet cell?
They
They
secrete the
release
mucus.
Okay. If their goblet cells are supposed to secrete chemical, okay? If they are in trachea, they will release mucus. Here they are going to release the mucus. Along with the mucus, there would be some enzymes, right? So the digestion is still keep. There are some little substances left over who are kept on being digested. So these goblet cells release some enzymes where the substances are kept on digesting. Okay, so they have the goblet cells. You should be able to identify goblet cells. They are very clear. You can see there are some cup-shaped structures present between these microvilli. That's the goblet cell, right? Okay, inside this, you can see there are the blood capillaries, right? And between this blood capillary, there's one more vessel. It looks green. Actually, in the paper, it would be green, but you should be able to identify it is between the blood capillary. This is known as lacteal. Okay? Lacteal belongs to another transport system of a human that is known as lymphatic system. What happens in the lymphatic system? Actually, Blood is not transported in the lymphatic system. There is a fluid which is formed in the tissues. Okay, I'm not going into the detail. It's a part of the transport in human, and that tissue, actually that fluid flows into these lymphatic capillary, and they have a property that they have a big pores in them. You capillaries, right? The capillaries have a smaller pores in them. Pores means the small holes in them, and the lacteal have a larger pores in them. Okay, so what happens, as glucose and amino acids have a smaller structure, they are easily absorbed into the blood capillaries. Okay, because they can pass through those pores or those holes. But what happens to the fatty acid and glycerol? They are the larger molecules. They cannot go into the capillary where they should be absorbed. Then here comes the function of the lacteal. They are the one who will take up the fatty acid, the glycerol, right? And these capillaries, okay, they are the smaller capillaries. When they join together, they make a vein, a larger vessel that is which is going towards the heart. Sorry, liver. It's going towards the liver. This is known as hepatic portal vein. Portal means it's a pathway. Okay? Hepatic means liver. Hepatic is the scientific name for the liver. Okay? Pulmonary is a scientific name for the lungs. Gastric is a scientific name for the stomach. Okay? All right. So when these capillary joins together and they form a vessel, a larger vessel, it's actually a vein that is known as hepatic portal vein. And vein means it would have deoxygenated blood. And this blood, this hepatic portal vein would have high amount of glucose. High amount of glucose. Okay? Right? So the question may come that you have three type of veins, three type of vessels. You have hepatic vessel, hepatic vein, okay, or you have hepatic artery. You know, the hepatic artery are the one who carries oxygenated blood, okay, and you have one more, hepatic portal vein. Now, my question is, among all these three vessels which are bringing blood to the heart and taking away the blood from the heart, bringing the blood to the liver and taking the blood away from the liver, which of these three vessels contain the highest amount of glucose? Hepatic vein, hepatic artery, or hepatic portal vein?
Hepatic portal vein?
Yes. Okay. So these hepatic vein is the one who takes the deoxygenated blood away from the liver. Hepatic artery is the one who brings the oxygenated blood to the liver. It also have a glucose, but not in the higher amount. Okay, because arteries contain the glucose because it's supposed to transport the nutrients to the cells. But what happens that in the hepatic portal vein, which is carrying the absorbed food directly from the villi, would have the highest or 100% amount of glucose in it. Okay, when it will reach to the liver, okay, and from the liver that blood goes to the other parts of the cell or to the heart, okay, amount of the glucose reduces there. So ऐसा liver में क्या हुआ? What happened in the liver that the hepatic vein, ठीक है, which is going out of the liver, ठीक है, उसमें भी glucose होगा, and the hepatic portal vein also has a glucose. Both have glucose. Hepatic vein, hepatic portal vein, both have glucose. ठीक है. But why the hepatic vein would have lesser amount of glucose as compared to hepatic portal vein? What happened here? If all the glucose was has been transported to the liver should transport all the glucose. But why the glucose quantity reduces when it releases the blood out of the liver? What happened in the liver to the glucose? क्या हुआ वहां पर?
Yes.
हम्म
Yes. Can
ऐसा
you
क्या हुआ?
please re-explain this statement?
Sorry, yes बेटा.
Can you please re-explain this statement? I cannot understand it.
I explain again what?
The labeling.
Oh, the labeling. Okay, okay, I'll explain it. Pele, is first answer me this. What do you think? What do you think? That why the hepatic
What
vein, the liver is supposed to distribute the food, right? The next stage of the absorption is assimilation. Hmm? Assimilation means to distribute the nutrients to the cell via blood. Okay, blood, and the food is coming from which part? That nutrients is coming from the liver, because the hepatic portal vein has transported all the food material to the liver. Now, from the liver, whatever the vessel is taking away from the blood is going to give the content to the cells. ठीक है? अब कैसे दे रहा है, क्यों दे रहा है, I'm not going into that detail, लेकिन the liver is actually the main station area. It's the station area where the food came. ठीक है, it stopped, the food stopped there. ठीक है, the nutrients stopped there, and from there the liver is supposed to distribute the food. So my question is, when the food or when the nutrients goes out of the liver through hepatic vein, the glucose is still there, or amino acid are still there, but why the amount of the glucose is less than the hepatic portal vein?
Miss,
Anyone?
did it get absorbed?
because
No.
it's getting used by
By the
for
cell.
energy. It's getting used for energy.
So liver needs lots of energy, that it has at least used half of the glucose.
Is liver storing it?
Yes, very good. It is storing it. ठीक है, before releasing the excess glucose will be first convert into glycogen, and whatever is remain behind, then it's going to be distributed. ठीक है. So that's why the amount of glucose in a hepatic vein is lesser than the hepatic portal vein. ठीक है. Yes, Zaina.
Miss, can you like briefly re-explain all this hepatic vein and hepatic artery thing?
All right. First, about the labeling. Villi is a finger-like structure, and it is made up of it is only one cell layer, right? It's one cell thick. One cell thick means it's made up of one layer. If it is one layer, it means the distance of the cell is smaller, so the diffusion rate will be faster, right? Plus, it has a structure, it has a microvilli on its upper part, which is actually increasing the absorption rate or the diffusion rate. Plus, it has the capillaries in it, well supplied, because the substance is supposed to be absorbed into the blood. So where in the blood? The capillaries, because they are well supplied with the blood capillaries, and in the capillaries the glucose is absorbed by the process of active transport, and the amino acid is absorbed by the process of diffusion. But the fatty acid and glycerol actually are the larger molecules. They cannot be absorbed into the blood capillaries. How they will go into the blood now? Okay, or how would they go out of the small intestine? Okay, how they will reach to the cells, right? So there is another type of a system that is known as lymphatic system. Lymphatic system is another type of transport system. ठीक है, ये भी क्या करता है? It's another type of transport system other than this circulatory system, which deals with the blood and heart. And this transport system has actually the fluid in it. ठीक है, the tissue fluid in it. Just remember that the tissue fluid in it. ठीक है, okay. And they have a property that they have a larger pores, or the larger holes in them. The fatty acid and glycerol are much more comfortable going into the lacteal than the capillary, because the pores or the holes in the capillary are smaller. Glucose and amino acid can pass through, but fatty acid and glycerol cannot. So they have to move into another vessel that is known as lacteal. Okay? It's a part of a lymphatic system. And when it's done, these capillaries will combine together to form a big vein, and that vein is known as hepatic portal vein, which is bringing everything to the liver. Now my question is, in the liver, जैसे ये picture है आपके पास, see, in the liver, ठीक है, there are three type of vessels going in and going out. One is bringing the oxygenated blood to the liver, that is hepatic artery. One is taking away the deoxygenated blood. ठीक है, that is known as hepatic vein, is leaving the organ, तो vein होता है. The vessel which is entering the organ is artery, and the vessel which is leaving the organ is known as vein. Now there's one more vein which is connected with the uh, gastrointestinal tract, means small intestine. There's a direct connection of small intestine with the liver through hepatic portal vein, right? So my question was, among all these three, which one would have the highest amount of glucose and amino acid? So your answer would be hepatic portal vein. Its vein, it has oxygen, it would have the oxygen poor blood, okay, deoxygenated blood, but yet it would have a glucose. Now, when it reached to the glucose, when it reached to the liver, my question was, liver is supposed to distribute the nutrients, ठीक है, कि सारा का जब सारा food liver में आ गया, amino acids and the other substances as well, then this uh, these nutrients will leave out of the liver through vein. Okay, then this vein will go to the heart, and then heart is going to give the blood to the artery, and the artery is going to distribute it. Okay, wherever the artery is going, it will provide all those nutrients of glucose, amino acid to all the cells. Okay, my question was, the amount of glucose in the hepatic portal vein is different, and amount of the glucose in hepatic vein is different. It is lesser here in the lesser as compared to the hepatic portal vein. So what happened here? What the liver did? Why it has released only some amount of glucose? So the answer was because some of the glucose had been stored in it in the form of glycogen. Okay? And
Miss,
rest of the glucose were distributed later on. Yes.
Miss, I don't understand the oxygen thing.
Which thing?
Oxygen, like high
Oh, you just
oxygen.
no, no, you just need to remember that there are three actually vessels present around this liver, right? One is bringing the oxygenated blood to the liver. You know that the cells need oxygen, right? So which vessel carry oxygenated blood? Vein or artery?
The artery.
Artery. So if the blood is coming towards the liver, so that artery would call hepatic artery. Okay? And the vein, it carries deoxygenated blood, so it's going out of the liver, that's called hepatic vein. ठीक है, organ के
Oh,
नाम पे artery और vein है. On the basis of the organ, then the artery and the vein are being named on it, ठीक है, respectively. जैसे pulmonary vein, pulmonary artery, remember when we were discussing human gas exchange?
yes.
Similarly, right now we are talking about the liver, so the vein and artery name will be different now. It would be hepatic vein and hepatic artery, right? But here we are not talking about who has oxygen more and carbon dioxide more. Here my question is, who would have the glucose more?
The hepatic portal vein.
Very good, the hepatic portal vein. And my second question was, why after hepatic portal vein, when it will provide the food to the liver, now that all the nutrients will leave out of the liver, so it can reach to the cell, right? The liver has to release the food, so the food can reach to the cell, correct? So it has to go through hepatic vein. My question was, the next second part of this explanation was, why the hepatic portal vein has lesser glucose as compared to the why the hepatic vein has the lesser glucose as compared to hepatic portal vein. The reason
It got
was
stored in
it
the
got
liver.
stored in form of the glycogen, right? Understood?
Yes, miss.
Okay. And some of the amino acid are also less in here. Amino acids are more in hepatic portal vein and less in the hepatic vein. What happened? There was a process known as, अभी पढ़ा है हमने, in the function of liver, deamination. ठीक है, what does the deamination do? It converts excess amino acid into urea. Have you heard about urea
What's
before?
urea? No.
Have you heard about urea before?
No.
No. Urea is a waste product.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And the urea actually makes the urine.
Oh,
Oh, yes. Right? So urea makes the urine. What if, and where can you find, what if you have a meal which is rich in food, rich in proteins, right? You have a big chunk of a meal, you had a big steak, right? And it's full of protein. You had some beans as well. Now, do you think you would have high amount of amino acid?
yes, then we will have more urea and
You
thus
will
more
have
urine.
exactly more urine. Okay, got it? Did you understood this deamination? What happens in the liver
Yes.
actually before releasing the nutrients into the hepatic vein and all the food will reach to the cell? There's some things the liver has to do. Number one, store the excess glucose and convert the excess amino acid into the urea. And that conversion of the amino acid into the urea is known as deamination. Is it clear to everyone? Yes, Zena?
Miss, where is the villi located?
Okay, villi is located in the small intestine. Here in this area.
Oh, okay.
Okay, in this area. Okay, so this part is done. Let's go back to the villi. Okay, all right. So what we were discussing the structure of the villi. I hope the villi structure is clear to you. Now let's discuss the structure along with its reason. Villi are numerous in n number and finger-like projections. Why? Because to increase the surface area to volume ratio for the absorption. Number two, it is well supplied with blood capillaries. Why? Because the glucose is going to be absorbed by active transport and amino acids supposed to be absorbed by diffusion. Remember, whenever you are talking about the absorption, you have to mention the name of the process. What is going in? What is going out? With the name of a process. If you just say the water is moving out without using the word osmosis, you will lose the marks. If you're saying that glucose is moving in without using the word active transport, you'll lose the marks. You have to name the process. Okay? Okay, the third. They have lacteals where the fatty acid and glycerol are absorbed because they are larger molecules and cannot enter the blood capillaries. I hope I've made this point clear to everyone that
Yes.
yes, why the lacteal is present. Okay, then they have microvilli on the surface to increase absorption. Take next point, they are thin walled. They are made up of, they are one cell thick, they are thin walled, or they are made up of only one layer of cells. Why? To increase the surface area to volume ratio as it decreases the distance. Okay, and all the absorbed food then go into the hepatic portal vein via hepatic portal vein to the liver. This is the structure and function of the villi. So if the question comes, describe the structure and function of the villi, you will write down all these points. All the key terms related to the structure, to the capillary, and its the processes, okay, and the lacteal and the microvilli, right? And how they are thin walled, and you will mention about the hepatic portal vein in that answer. Is it clear how you will write the answer?
Yes.
If it comes in the long answer, like maybe probably more than maybe for 4 marks or maybe 5 marks, okay, you should be able to cover up all these points. Just look at the marks and then write down the answer. If they are saying if the question is for 4 marks, use the 4 key points. If the question is 5 marks, then utilize all the points. If the question is of 3 marks, use the 3 key points. Okay, and plus you should be able to label the villi as well. All right, so here we are done with the absorption. Now your nutrients is in the blood, ready to be distributed to the cell. So the next stage is assimilation. The distribution and utilization of the digested food by the cells is called assimilation. Now the food has reached to the cell. The cell is going to utilize it. Where is going to utilize it? We are going to discuss now. Okay? Okay. So number one, glucose. It is used in respiration to provide energy. Okay? Then amino acid. The cell is going to use it for making new proteins, making new hormones, new enzymes, or new antibodies, or for the repairing. If there's a wear tear in the cell, they are going to repair it. Okay? Using the amino acids, making the proteins. And then fatty acid and glycerol, they helps in making of the new protoplasm, helps in making of the new cell membrane. Okay? And also making some of the hormones. They are oil based or they are fat based, and the rest of the fatty acid will be stored into the certain cells. All right. Did you understand this assimilation? What happens with the glucose? Respiration. What happened to amino acid? Helps in building up of the new proteins as in hormone, enzyme, antibodies, or helps in the repairing. Fatty acid and glycerol, they help in making of the new protoplasm, the cell membrane, in making of some of the hormones. Plus, these are the three major functions of the nutrients. Okay. Now, if they are in excess, what would happen? If the glucose is in excess, it will convert it into the glycogen. Remember, okay, जो liver कर रहा था with the help of a hormone known as insulin. Insulin is the hormone who converts the glucose into glycogen. So when there is a problem in the insulin and your body is not able to convert glucose into glycogen, it's not able to store it, which problem the person will start to suffer from?
Miss,
Is it
can you repeat?
repeat the question? You know, insulin is a hormone which converts the glucose into the glycogen, and the glycogen is now stored, okay, which we just discussed earlier, and is stored in the liver and stored in the muscles, right? Sometimes the insulin is not working properly and the glucose is not converting into glycogen. Now the glucose percentage will be higher into the blood, which is not good for the cells. You know, the solute is increasing. It is affecting my osmotic balance. What do you think? What type of condition it will now
Diabetes.
cause in the body? Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Very nice, diabetes. That's why insulin is important. Okay? Okay, so what happens to the glucose if it's in excess? Convert into glucose to glycogen. What would happen to the amino acid? It will convert into urea by the process called
Deamination.
deamination, and that urea will be released out of your body through urine. That's toxic material. Okay. All right. And what happened to the fatty acid and glycerol? The excess fatty acid and glycerol are converted into fats, the larger molecules, and then stored into the adipose tissue. Now, what is this adipose tissue? You have a layer of this tissue under your skin where it is stored. That is known as adipose tissue. You will find this layer under your skin. That's known as adipose tissue. So, this adipose tissue actually helps in insulation, okay, or heat trapping. You know what is insulation? What is insulation?
The heat thing.
It traps the heat, right? It traps the heat.
Yes.
That is known as insulation. So, it is very much beneficial for those animals who live in the colder area, like penguins, whale, polar bear, right? White wolf, polar wolf. These are they are the animals who need to protect their body from loss of heat. Otherwise, they would die. So, if we are human, we can protect ourselves from the cold. How? By wearing the warm clothes, by eating the warm food, by keeping ourselves into indoors. But the animal, they have to go out and hunt. मेरे पास तो खाना आ रहा है ना उनके पास तो खाना नहीं आया they have to go out and hunt if they go into the severe cold conditions they can die how they are going to keep themselves warm they have this large adipose tissue layer in their body who keeps them warm who keeps them insulated that's the benefit of the adipose tissue especially to the animals I hope this is clear to you.
Yes.
All right. And lastly, the liver is the area where everything's break down. If it's toxins like alcohol breaks down into the liver, right? And this is how it is, how alcohol is not good for the body, because the liver has to do extra work to break down the liver. And when the liver has to do the extra work, the liver gets exhausted. When the liver gets exhausted, then the liver suffer from different diseases, right? So that's why alcohol is not good for the body. Okay? So this is the assimilation. We have actually provided the food to the cells now. They have reached to their destination. The cells are happy now. What is left?
The excretion.
The or not excretion, egestion. Okay,
Yes.
egestion. All right, and number, which alimentary canal is left now?
Large intestine.
Large intestine, very correct. Okay. Now, what is happening in the large intestine? First, there are three parts of the large intestine: cecum, colon, and rectum. No